Hi everyone, it's Christine, your lovable hug of muse, and welcome to the Vortex, everyone. We're bringing you our uploads from our downloads. And today, you guys, we're going to be talking about how to rewrite your past narrative. And as you know, everyone, storytelling really is my favorite method I use in the awakening and healing process. And there's actually a reason for this. Storytelling is a lot like dreaming, but on the conscious level. Sometimes an experience is so horrible to someone or so unfathomable that the mind just can't express it in words. So it starts to create the story made up of different lands, strange races, and storylines that often represents this real life experience. In nursery rhymes and the grim fairy tales, these were often very dark stories, really unlike what we see in Disney, where the warnings to the children are warning them of these real life dangers that they could face in either their childhood or adulthood. But for children who aren't necessarily able to comprehend certain things like death or danger, they're told these stories in ways using things like animals and mythical creatures that helps to kind of embed that story in their heads. And it usually stays there up until adulthood. That's how compelling storytelling can be. And it can be definitely an amazing tool for learning, but it's when these negative narratives being told starts to become like a constant reality for somebody, when they start to take on that negative story and they start to own it as their own. That's when it can cause real problems. I mean, especially when it has a negative view on that person or other people or an experience. So why is that so important? Because they really are starting to realize in neuroscience, and I'll go ahead and post a link below on that, that often the mind can't really tell the difference between an imaginary thought or experience and something that's actually happening. So this is pretty relevant to people who might be experiencing various forms of like PTSD. They literally have the same experiences with the same thoughts playing like a record in their head over and over again. And they even experience some of the same physiological experiences in their body, and they might actually have some different responses to certain triggers. And a lot of times this can manifest into other conditions like anxiety and depression and even some illnesses, because the mind and the body really can't keep re-experiencing things in a stress or fight or flight mode for that long without some serious side effects. I mean, although stress can be helpful to prevent us from certain dangerous situations, the body really wasn't meant to be in that state of stress for long periods of time. So that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to show everyone how to rewrite that unwanted story that may keep playing over and over again in people's lives. And we can do it in so many ways, you guys, but I'm going to go over an article that I read from Psychology Today, which is the 5 steps on how to rewrite your past narrative. And in the 5 ways I'm going to post, which I posted up here, we're going to go through them one by one. So step 1, everyone, think about 3 to 5 key experiences that you feel had negatively impacted your life. So these are going to be those milestone moments, you guys, that probably run in your head like a record. You may experience some physiological responses to those memories that might be playing in your mind. Some people actually have some of those memories suppressed, and they probably need to seek like counseling or a licensed psychologist to navigate through some of those more deeply buried memories. But it's really good to kind of look into those memories and realize what they are and which ones have impacted you the most. And step 2, everyone, list all the benefits or opportunities or learning that came from those 3 to 5 experiences. So when we actually start looking at the past experiences in a positive way, like a lesson or something that we learned from, we can take that bad experience and powerfully reframe it to something that created a positive result for you. So when you're doing that, what you're really doing is taking charge of those memories and not letting them run you. And that's going to give you a sense of empowerment and feeling that you have more control in your life. And step 3, everybody, think about your current view of the cause of those experiences. Then maybe rethink the cause. I mean, was there more to the narrative than you thought? Like, was someone else's storyline entangled with yours? I mean, when you look at your own story, definitely try to look at it in third person view. Go outside of the actual storyline, look at it from the outside in, and see all the characters in there and consider some of their stories. I mean, when you start to see how the stories of others had some influence on how they interacted with you and your story, you start to really have an understanding that your only responsibility in life is really for your own character, and really that the actions of those other characters don't really define you. I mean, you might even have some empathy for those other characters because they really only understand their story in the matter of how it was told to them. And step 4, everyone, think about those experiences and how they shaped your view of the world. I mean, your narrative is basically how you see and understand the world. But if you change that story to some degree, how would that change your view and experience of the world? I mean, would you act differently if you didn't see yourself as a victim or other people as perpetrators? I mean, how would you start to think about other people's actions towards you? Would you take things less personally? Would you be more accepting and understanding of others? Would you be more compassionate to others? Hows and whys? And those are just some of the questions you definitely start to kind of uncover the more you do that. And finally, everyone, step 5, think about how these experiences have shaped your identity and how you view yourself. Then rethink your identity and focus on the gains and not the gaps in your life, or not the things that you think you've lost because of the experiences, or you think that was a disadvantage to you. I mean, this is the part, you guys, where you really take back the pen and empower yourself as the author of your own story. I mean, a lot of times we find ourselves out of alignment because we just been entangled in other people's stories for so long. And I really challenge all of you today to untangle yourselves from those other narratives and to really discover the story that you really want to see in yourself. Because if you truly don't like the narrative that you're currently in, you can choose to change it, and that is within your own power. So wherever you are in your walk, everyone, this decision to change your path is as quick as turning around and going a different direction. And I really like to emphasize how easy the choice to change is. I mean, the process obviously takes more time. And that's really what stops people from the change. It's not really the choice, it's the process. And sometimes we often don't change the path because it's hard to kind of realize that we've gone on a path for so long that really wasn't getting us anywhere. And the thought of having to walk back the other way seems a lot more harder and discouraging than just continuing in the way you're going. I mean, even if it isn't really what you want. But if you look at life as a journey, everyone, full of twists and turns and sometimes having to backtrack, then you're going to see the beauty of how any experience you have in life can be an amazing adventure and a benefit to you if you choose to look at it that way. And really, what this article really asks you to kind of consider are 2 questions when you start telling yourself these old storylines again. Is 1, is the story serving you, everyone? And 2, is this a story that you want to tell? I mean, here you can truly edit that storyline that you've been writing all your life and make something really amazing out of it. And, just live the life that was truly meant for you. Because this is kind of my last share, everyone, because I go online. I've been trying to avoid it lately just because everything that's been on there lately has been just really negative. And I honestly try to avoid some of the stories out there because it really, isn't the kind of story that I'm trying to write in my own reality. But when I do go online, sometimes I see a quick reflection of the storyline that's going on in the world, and I don't believe in ignoring that. I mean, it's always been my charge to help heal the way that people see themselves. I mean, I always try to think about whether or not the story I'm telling is going to benefit someone else, and if there's just no benefit there, there's really no reason for me to have to necessarily talk about all the struggles in my life. But I have known some bit of struggles, everyone, and I've been through a lot in life. It's just when I see the world and I see the kind of pain that it seems to be going through, or some of the negative storylines and trajectories that we've been going on, it really, puts me in that situation where, I reflect on myself and ask myself, what part of healing in me do I need to work on? Because I always feel like the healing comes here first, and you can always expend that out to other people. And I think that especially what's going on with it right now, there's so much in the media, and there's a lot of tragic things going on, and people's view of the world is so negative and tainted. And I know deep down inside, a lot of us really want something else. We don't want this reality. And I just really encourage all of you to really realize and understand that you are the creator of your own reality. You can affect so many people in so many ways. I mean, I have a story for you. I work with someone overseas that lives in Africa, and we talk a lot. I help mentor him because he's interested in coaching. But one day he kind of told me a story about how he just felt led to, go into this congregation of people and talk to them, and I was like, well, encouraged him. And he decided to go in there and just, kind of talk about some of his own views in life and how he believed in, manifesting and living a life that you can create. And somebody actually came up to him asking him to, a little bit more about tell him a little bit more about what he was talking about. And the short end of the story is he kind of was able to make that person finally see what their gift was. I mean, she was really good at hairdressing and braiding, and told her, follow your dream, follow your passion, and make that a sense of livelihood for you. And this is a place where there's really not a lot of jobs, and there's really not a lot of opportunities. And I was really proud of him, and I'm going to share his story a little bit more when I have a little bit more time. But I just loved the fact that that's really how we can make the changes in this world. It's not the way we think we do it, by some of the things we're doing right now, which is that resistance and force, because that resistance and force is still an energy that we're putting into something. And whenever you focus energy on anything, that's definitely what you're going to attract. So I always just tell people, attract what you do want, attract good relationships, attract love, attract positivity, because that's really, you have to embody what it is you want to be able to attract it. In my own reality, I'm just all about creating connections and creating these bridges between people, and and forming positive alliances, empowering people in all areas of life. So it's really hard sometimes when I see things that are outside of that. But I also learned to kind of embrace and realize that too is part of reality and part of the things we experience in life, and that's just parts of the things we need to heal within ourselves from everything. And it is definitely from the inside and out, everyone. So definitely I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm really happy to announce to you guys I finally finished my life coach certification, and I am moving on to my master life courses. So I'm going to be able to have more tools to help serve everyone out here. And I'll definitely start posting my availability and my times on Facebook, so you guys can request an appointment with me. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please reach out. Or if there's a video you want to see me make, please do. I definitely appreciate all the time you take to come out and spend time with me, and maybe, you know, learn something new about something that I've been just working on. Other than that, you guys, you have an amazing day, and just, you know, just keep taking care of yourself and each other. Until then, you guys, you have an amazing one. Bye bye.